Here we go, it's the Kopite Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Kopite Podcast. I'm Matt, is Mick, and shortly we'll be joined by a Brighton fan called Maz. I don't know where Mick found one of them, but he'll be joining shortly. I think he's actually in the lobby waiting to be added, Mick.
He is. There he is.
All right, Maz.
Right, Matt.
Hello, Aiden, you all right?
Deflated, but doing okay.
Thanks for the comment as well. Where you found us, yeah. But there's actually more. There's actually more than you think of us. Yeah.
From Gibraltar, there's like no Brighton fans here. But we'll start with you, Maz, because I think you'll be the happier out of me and Mick.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more of a case of you guys being a bit poor, to be honest with you, rather than us being amazing or very good. So yeah, it was one of those games where I actually thought, looking back now, you know, all the chances and stuff like that, we actually had a lot of sort of clear cut chances in the first half, and of course we missed a penalty as well through Mopai, which was gutting. So all in all, I think, you know, draw was the least that we deserved. So yeah, I mean, of course, I was very, very happy. I was anticipating a 4-0 win for you guys. So the fact that we got a 1-1 draw, it's not too bad at all.
Yeah, me and Mick were talking before off air, and it didn't deserve the win. Liverpool did not deserve the win at all. You guys played quite well. Connolly caused a lot of problems. I was surprised when he came off, actually, but I'm sure we'll get to that in a minute. Just Mick, your initial reaction to the game.
It was a hard watch from a Liverpool point of view. Obviously, they missed a pen, so we got a lot of fortune there, and obviously a couple of disallowed goals, which obviously VAR. It's always hard to take, even though it's marginal, and technically by the law, letter of the law, it's offside. But it's still hard to take especially when we got one in the derby given against us as well with Mane, where it's like toenails or whatever, and you're just like, oh, fuck's sake. But it's just one of those games where Millie's gone off injured as well. Like we can't take any more injuries, and we're already patched up as it is. Like we touched on the pod before this one, like seven first teamers out, which is like the fact that we're even still scoring goals and can field 11 players is good enough for me. But it was a hard watch today. It really was.
I was saying that actually with your result against Leicester, the fact that you sort of, you know, put 3 past a really good Leicester team with a very, very thin squad, I thought was incredible. So the fact that you were sort of handling those injuries so well, I was really surprised. But I suppose maybe now it's slowly catching up on you guys, like you saw with the Atalanta result, and of course now with the result today. So yeah, no, I think you've been so unlucky with injuries. It's been pretty horrible to see for you guys.
Yeah, I think you can see that now Liverpool are getting a little bit thin in midfield. And then you've got the key position, which is right back, which we'll get onto right back now shortly, because one of the things that struck me, and I didn't really dig into him against Atlanta, because I said he was young and he's a kid and he's going to make mistakes, Nico Williams. But the challenge that he makes for your first penalty, you can't do that at any age group, so it's kind of hard to think what's going through his head. He's a Premier League level defender. Surely that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I was quite surprised about how well Connolly sort of put it on him, stuck it on him. You know, he just really didn't handle Connolly at all, and he was dragged at half time. And I was chatting to sort of a couple of mates, and I was like, yeah, he's by far Liverpool's weakest link. You know, if Anne Robertson was there, he'd be the first one to go home. So he did not have a good day at the office. And it was clear by Jurgen Klopp's decision to pull him. And I was actually surprised not to see Milner at right back to start with. So I don't know if you guys can shed any more light on why that didn't happen.
Mick?
I think it was because I don't know if you can rely on Millie in terms of playing him. But then, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see what the reason behind it. And I think we were all surprised when we seen, obviously, we started the last game, didn't we? And we weren't great at all against that Atalanta, so it was. Yeah. And I think he got given a bit of a scapegoat card. Obviously, like a lot of fans like to do on Twitter, he got given going down as he was the worst player on the pitch, but he weren't. But today, like, he got dragged off at half time, and it's a steep learning curve for him. Like he knows, like he's out of position originally, and he's trying to make it up, and he's just gone in too rashly, and it's like trying to stop the shot. And if they score, then you're looking at him going, why isn't he putting a tackle in? So it's just swings and roundabouts. Yeah. But the way he's gone in way too vigorously. Like, any striker in the Premier League or in world football, any sort of contact, they're going to go down anyway. So the fact that he put in a tackle that meaty on him was just, and it was a stonewaller. So it was disappointing to see from that point of view. And then the fact that he went off for half time as well. It's just all going wrong for him at the minute. And we've said before on the pod before this, we wanted him to have a good game to get some confidence in the tank, because he's not played often, and we're at bare bones at the minute anyway. So it'd be good to see him get a bit of form, but it's not going his way at the moment for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. I was about to say his confidence must be shot after being dragged at half time. It must be a horrible thing for such a young player. So yeah.
And he's probably get a lot of stick on social media now as well, because that's what happened last time. Hopefully he doesn't, but to be fair, I'm expecting him to this time. So just moving on to the penalty, Neil Maupay I was kind of shocked at the miss, to be honest. I'm just always shocked when a professional footballer misses the target.
No, it's just so frustrating. Like you said, it's just hit the target. If Alisson makes the save, I'm like, okay, fair play. Alisson's, picked the right corner. He saved it, fair play. But the fact that he's not even hit the target and not even made Alisson work was just so frustrating. And it's just the story of our season, to be fair. As you guys probably saw in that game, it's just been us missing our chance, not taking our chances. And I mean, you can't get anything better than a penalty, can you? Like, there's nothing easier to score than a penalty. So yeah, it's just frustrating. So frustrating to see. And then the fact that he got injured so quickly after, and then had a strop to come off. I think was it every player who went off had a strop today? Yeah. I think it was Salah. Who else was it? Connolly and Maupay all had a massive strop when they came off. So it must have been one of those days, I think.
Yeah, you guys definitely bossed the game, at least at the end of the first half. We had the opening 10 minutes. I think no one can say that Liverpool weren't on it. You guys had the Connolly chance when he had the one-on-one and he spurned it. And then from that point on, Connolly was just causing all kinds of trouble to the back line, wasn't he, Mick?
Yeah, and you could see that was going to happen, because usually, I think Matt Wellman in commentary touched on it, we've usually got Van Dijk and Gomez there. So even if you've got just one of them, that recovery pace is, you don't see many defenders that fast who can make up the space. We have that high line and we rely on that recovery pace to bail us out. So the fact that we had Phillips and Fabinho, who were pretty slow in terms of centre halves, it was, I don't know if we've got the ability to drop deep. I don't know if it would completely disrupt how a Jurgen Klopp team would play. So it's difficult to say, just drop 10 yards, because I don't know if that would affect everything else. So I think they're just trying to adopt the same as, to try and keep it as fluid as it normally is. But it was on every time, just a clip. That's what Liverpool used to do against teams. If they play a high line against us, clip over the top, Mane, Salah, pace, bang, goal. So the fact that he was through for that one and missed, I was very surprised, because he's a good player. I didn't realise he's only 20 as well. So he looks really promising. He could lead the line for you guys for a long time, I think, because he's doing well at this young age. So the only way he's up for a minute in terms of progression.
Yeah, no, definitely. Unfortunately, I'm sure you guys probably don't watch our games, but we're watching him. He's very frustrating. I know he's young and he's still got a long way to go, but he's just a very frustrating player. He's got a lot of pace. As you guys saw, he runs a lot, but then it just, simple things, the key passes, finishing, those little bits that complete a player. He's still sort of quite a long way to go, and his attitude as well, as you could probably see by the substitution, has been questioned a lot in the past. So off the pitch, I think he's a bit of a character, so to speak, and he's got a couple of sort of temperament issues. So I think if he can hone those and sort of just focus on his game and improve, then yeah, definitely I agree. He can definitely be one for us for the future. And like you said, he's still young, so he can learn a lot from Welbeck coming in. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you guys bossed the rest of the first half. We got to half time. I think it was much needed for Liverpool, and thankfully Jordan Henderson came on. Big player for Liverpool, and Nico Williams is the one that got hooked. But I thought that Taki Minamino could have got hooked as well, because he was shocking as well. And I was so excited to see Taki play, as we discussed before, Mick. And I don't think he did anything right this match, did he?
Yeah, and I don't want to slate him because he hasn't had much game time, but this was a perfect game for him. It was he's been selected, he's been picked ahead of of Mane. We all expected Mane to start, and he's picked Taki instead. And you're like, go on, Taki, show us what you can do, and you're willing him to do. Same as Neco Williams, you want him to do something where you go, wow, that's why we bought him or whatever. And it's the same. It's not going that well for him either at the minute, and it just, I don't know if it'll come with a run of games or whatever, but they're going to be used more often. But players keep going down every game for us. We're going to have more injuries. They're going to get put into the start 11 more often, so they're going to have to. They need to step her up in terms of quality of performance, because we need to. Like, we're still top of the league. Like, it's really, I've looked at it, like, we're 1 point top of the league. I know it's a disappointing result on that, but we're still getting a lot going along all right, considering all this patch up work we've had to do. So it wasn't great viewing today, but in terms of the big picture, which I try and see, because I try and be a top red, it's all right, but we can't afford any more injuries. And like I said, Neco Williams and Taki need to step up performance levels to make us as fluid as we can be in this side at the minute.
Yeah. So Henderson comes on, does sort of change Liverpool, maybe impetus, give them a bit more drive. And you can see straight away that you guys sort of pushed back a little bit. Like, Liverpool did apply a bit of pressure to Brighton, and finally Liverpool got the breakthrough. You managed to keep the front three relatively quiet all game. I think Salah had like half a chance in the first half, but other than that, you kept it quiet. And then it took a little bit of magic from like Jota just to dribble across and then hit it across, and kind of fortunate that it bubbled over White's leg.
Yeah, I was about to say. But, no. It was a great goal. Just the build up was brilliant. Yotta's feet, just everything about it just oozed class, and that's what I really admire Liverpool. Like, the way you guys play going forward is just incredible. The fluidity between all your front four. And Yotta's just been a man possessed. He's been incredible. He's been a joy to watch as someone who doesn't support Liverpool. And yeah, great goal. But of course, it was very, as you mentioned, the bobble over White was literally millimeters. If that had just hit off his leg, we could have stopped it maybe. But no, it was a great goal. And I literally put my hands up. I was like, what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pissed. I was annoyed. I was like, we should be, we should maybe arguably be 1 or 2 goals up here, and then you guys take the lead. And I was just like, for God's sake. But then on the flip side, I was like, well, they're Liverpool, you guys played great football. It was a great goal. I put my hands up, and what else can you do? But yeah, the fact that we came back from it was positive.
Yeah, like when we scored, my reaction was, okay, thank God, like, because it was looking like one of those games that it's just not going to happen. Mick, when we scored, were you like, okay, sweet, we're going to push forward, or were you still a bit concerned?
I thought that was going to open the valve a little bit, and we were going to start being a bit more fluid. Obviously, when Hendo came on, you could see instantly the change. Like, it was fluid as it usually is when Hendo comes on, and Millie went right back. We started taking the ball side to side as we usually do, and we got that opening with Jota, who was boss again. And like, and that's his 5th goal in 8 Premier League games, which is just crazy. Like, the kid's absolutely on fire, mate. So loving seeing that. But yeah, I wanted us to start opening up and get a second one, because obviously Mane got one. I think it was like 6 minutes towards the end where that goes in. You're like, oh, there we go, we're over the line now. And then that gets ruled offside as well, and you're like, oh. And then that when that gets ruled offside, you're always worrying. Then last 5 minutes, especially with 5 minutes added on, I was like, all it takes here is one corner, one Lewis done big head on a cut off a corner and the back of it. And it's just unfortunate it comes from a penalty, because that's the worst way for it to happen for me. And it's just like, oh my God. But then when you look at it as overall, like, it probably was the right result, like, overall, because we weren't great. Brighton were good. We just couldn't get our forward line firing early enough. Like, we start, like, especially when Hendo comes on. Like, for me, I maybe would have started Hendo, but I understand where Klopp's coming from in terms of trying to rest them. The same with Matip, because we can't afford any more injuries and to these big key players. So it was disappointing to see, but it's another point on the board. I'm trying to be as positive as I can, but it's hard going. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you touched on the VAR goal, the disallowed goal for Mane, but before that, there's been quite a few injuries this match. We've touched on Morpay, touched on Milner, but even for me as a Liverpool fan, it was quite sad having to see Adam Lallana forced off again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's cursed. I think I don't know what's going on. It's like a Jack of all trades just cursed, put a curse on him or something, because it just keeps happening. And I think what is it? He's been injured. He played for us what 5 times, 6 times, and he's been injured 4 out of those 6. I think he's only played one game, full game without being dragged off. So it's just so frustrating because I mentioned it on another Liverpool pod. He's just a classy player. He oozes class. You know, he loves a Cruyff turn. We all know that. But like, you know, he brings a lot. He's got great vision. He's calm on the ball, and he just brings a huge quality to Brighton that we've sort of been missing really. And he's sort of, you know, he's level. You can show the levels. You know, he won a Premier League with you guys, a Champions League. You know, he's got that class about him. But it's just so frustrating that he can't stay on the pitch for 90 minutes. And as a Brighton fan, it's just so sort of sad to see really, because he's got, you know, what he can do. It's just, can he stay on the pitch long enough to do it? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because when Klopp first came in, before Lallana had all his injury problems, like he was one of the most used players. Like you said, he oozes quality, he oozes class, and he's just gone through a spell the last 3-4 years where he's just picking up knocks left, right, and centre. Yeah. It's sad because he's a player with a lot of ability, and if you can get him fit and firing, then he's going to be a massive weapon for you guys, especially on where you are in the league, competing with everyone else.
Like he's even showed it early doors. Like, you know, he shows what the difference he can make. But it's just, it all stems back to just how long can he stay on the pitch to affect the game. It's just like, you know, for today he stayed on. What was he on the pitch for 10 minutes? Didn't do anything. So it's just like, just I don't know what it is and why he keeps getting these injuries. You know, is it something in training? Is it down to his diet? Is it down to his gym work? I don't know. It's all speculation, and it's just frustrating to see, really.
Yeah. So you guys have the blow of Lallana, but then end of the match comes. The ball in the box, Liverpool clear it. Doesn't look like anything's happening, but Welbeck's on the floor, and I'm thinking, okay, there's nothing wrong there. And the replay hits, and as soon as I see that contact for Robertson, just with how the rules are nowadays, I'm like, it's going to be given. And I'm pretty
Yeah, with that, it was a funny one, because basically in one of my group chats as well, we had this debate. It's like, with Welbeck's reaction, obviously he sort of staggers down, doesn't he? He doesn't really go down straight away. He sort of takes his time to go down. So the argument for me is, if he's honest, then that probably won't be given. If he then goes down, then, you know, it's that problem of like, if you're too honest, you don't get the penalty. But then if you go down, then you get accused of cheating and being a diver. So it's like trying to find that, you know, middle ground of being honest, but, you know, keeping it within the sort of the spirit of the game. But then actually, you know, really in the eyes of the law, there's contact made, and it should be a penalty. So it's a very difficult one. You know, I personally think it was definitely a penalty, just because of the contact made. But I can maybe see from a Liverpool perspective, if, you know, people accuse Welbeck of maybe going down a bit easy. And I can see Robertson was obviously frustrated as well by the decision. I think he said some choice words on camera about it. So, I don't think he was happy either. So I can see sort of both sides, but I think the right decision was made in the end. Yeah,
I think the only thing that annoys me about that, the penalty, is the fact that Welbeck takes like 1-2 steps and then he's like, I hit the floor. But then
that's the thing, yeah.
When you look at it though, it is, at the end of the day, Robertson doesn't get the ball. He just gets all Welbeck, and regardless of how minimal the contact is, with VAR now, with the rules the way they are, you know it's going to be given. And Mick, as soon as VAR were looking at it, literally just seconds, you were like, "This is a pen." You just dropped me a text like, "This is a pen."
Yeah, well, you don't see it in real time. You just think Welbeck's maybe, I don't know, fell over his own feet or he's tripped or whatever. And then when you see the replay, you're like, that is 100% a penalty. Like, I don't care. It's annoying because if it was down the other end and it was Salah or Mane, we'd be like, screaming for the pen. But I understand what Dan's saying here, like you just discussed there, Mars. Like, it's trying to get that fine line between like going down straight away and that making it theatrical, or like when you look at it on the replay, like it is a penalty. Like it's hard to say because it's the last kick of the game pretty much, and you're like, this is 2 points dropped in another game that we need to get maximum points from, and you're just like, just another hammer blow. But yeah, for me it was a pen.
That's what I think. I think if Danny Welbeck if he'd stayed on his feet and just walked off and not even, you know, given a kind of a signal to the ref, I think that wouldn't have been given. So I think he had to do what he did in order for them to have a look at it, because I don't think even that they would have gone to VAR about it if he hadn't have made a slight meal of it.
Yeah.
But then that's the thing. I know obviously Salah in the past has had a really bad rep for sort of going down too easily, according to a lot of fans. So it's the same sort of thing. If Salah had done that, probably Premier League fans would have been screaming, "Oh, he's dived, he's a diver, blah blah blah." But if there's contact, there's contact. So yeah, it's a tricky one for footballers nowadays with VAR. It's like, do they stay honest and stay on their feet, or do they go down and win the penalty? It's one of those conundrums, really.
Yeah, well, Daniel Moxley, he's commented again saying that VAR isn't supposed to re-referee the game, and that by the Premier League's own rules that shouldn't be happening. It's supposed to be this whole clear and obvious error thing. But I personally don't understand the whole clear and obvious thing, because a mistake's a mistake, isn't it? At the end of the day,
exactly.
And it is a penalty. I'm Liverpool through and through, and I can't sit here and defend that that's not a penalty, because it is. He doesn't get any of the ball; he gets all of Welbeck. I can agree that if Welbeck doesn't go down, it probably doesn't get viewed. But at the end of the day, if Welbeck's felt the contact, of course he's going to go down.
Exactly.
As a Brighton fan, if Welbeck wouldn't go down, I think you'd be annoyed if he didn't go down, wouldn't you, Matt?
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't like seeing players go down easily. I don't like people, trying to, win a penalty through dodgy means. But with the introduction of VAR, you'd hope that those kind of things are eradicated now, because you can see if someone's clearly dived. But yeah, no, I think unfortunately, in the way that sort of football is now, is if you don't sort of go down or show that there's been contact in a way, you don't, the referee sort of won't believe you, or or whatnot. But yeah, with VAR, you should hope that basically they should make things clear. So there should be a definitive sort of black and white. If there's contact, it's a penalty. Whether they go down or not. They should just make it clear, so we as fans understand and get it.
Yeah, 100%. Mick?
Yeah, no, it would be good though if you could hear the conversations the referees are having, because then we could be able to go, right, we know what the thought process is now. And it is a bit, we're behind like a brick wall in terms of what's actually going on. Like, what's the referee saying to the guy? What's the guy in Stockley Park saying first and foremost?
Yeah.
Is he thinking it's a pen, or is he not? What's he saying to the referee in terms of right? Is he saying, I haven't got a clue, go and have a look? Or either advisory, go and have a look at this, because it might be a penalty. You might want to overturn this. It's just the not knowing, and then you can, when the referee goes to the screen, for a fact it's getting overturned. So it's just kind of like, just waiting for the chop. You're just like, right, this is going to get overturned. Yeah, and it was a penalty. I know the guys in the comments are saying it maybe it wasn't clear and obvious. For me, it was. If that was Mane or Salah, and the last kick of the game, we were 1-0 down, and that happened, and it weren't given, there'd be an absolute furore on Twitter and wherever else in terms of why it wasn't this given. So, there's maybe they need to explore ways, like I said, maybe miking the refs up, or refs coming out at the end of the game and explaining it. I don't know, but I know that probably won't be a viable option, that second one, but something where we can see how decisions are getting made, because it is frustrating. I mean, even when it's for or against you, you just want to know why it's happened. That's all.
I think it's happening in rugby, isn't it? With the referees, so they have a clear sort of line between each other, and it's shown on TV. So I don't see why that can't be introduced in football. Just having us hearing them two talking to each other rather than a mic on the ref. Because I think a mic on the ref, obviously players swear and whatnot, so it might not be viable. But yeah, definitely a link between the referees. I don't see why there's an issue of us hearing that. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get that done.
It definitely wouldn't. It would help with the confusion, like you're saying before, because apart from the fact that we don't know what's going on. I was watching the match on BT. I think it's Peter Walton that they have on, and Peter Walton was saying, he was an ex-ref, and he was saying, "Oh, it's not going to get overturned. I wouldn't overturn it." But he doesn't know what's going on either. So it's not just the fans; it's ex-professionals, ex-referees that they don't know how the law is being implemented, and I feel like it's just changing game to game. Every week there's a question being thrown up about VAR, and it just happens on a game by game basis. It definitely needs sorting.
No, agreed. It's sort of laughable at times, because, like you said, there's one rule one week and then one rule the next, and it's just no consistency. And for example, I'll never forget the Mane offside, where his little pinky toe was offside for you guys, and I just thought, surely there should be some kind of, I know it means rewriting the whole rules or whatever, but surely there's got to be some kind of sort of rule or bylaw where, with those kind of minimal offsides. But then I know people will say, "Oh, well, offside is offside. So how can you draw a line? How can it be? It's so difficult to do." But yeah, I don't know. It's such a difficult subject because people are going to moan no matter what. Really, let's be frank. No matter what people do, what people are going to have something to moan about. So I suppose we just got to make do with what we've got, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's better. I suppose some people will argue that it's better without VAR. I'm still undecided. Sometimes VAR's got me in a good mood. Sometimes it's pissing me off.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a bit of a purist at heart. I like the old school sort of, just football. A goal, 22 players. Just have it out with each other. But then, and then on the flip side, for example, today, if VAR didn't exist, we would be looking at a 1-0 loss. So, it swings and roundabouts. It's nice when it goes for you, but horrible when it goes against you. So,
yeah. So, like we said at the top, Maz, you're definitely going to be happier with this result. But Mick, you've tried to stay somewhat positive because we are top of the table. I suppose a lot of that positivity hinges on is it Tottenham's match tomorrow against Chelsea? So, fingers crossed, right?
So if there's a draw there, then we're let off the hook, so to speak, in terms of Spurs not putting points on us. But it's difficult when we've rested players in midweek, and then you're like, right, we're saving them for Brighton to go and turn Brighton over at their ground, which won't be easy. We'll have a full plethora of players to choose from, and you want us to be, like we said on the one before the game started, we want us to start at 90 miles an hour and close everything down, and it just didn't happen again. I don't know if it's just the serious change in personnel, week to week, where we're trying to patching up all over the place and just trying to get by, or I don't know what it is. It's hard to legislate at the moment. I mean, we've got Ajax on Tuesday in Champions League, which we only need a point from, and we're through to the next round. But then got Wolves coming up as well at home, and another Champions League game, and then Fulham and Spurs. So these injuries aren't doing us any favours, but it's the same for everyone. And I've just seen a quote there from Klopp about the fixture, because it's got picked for an early kickoff, hasn't it? And he's put he said something like, "Congratulations to you, you did this," or something like that. It is funny, but it's, and you'd understand what I think the Championship have took up the rule, haven't they? Having 5 subs, but I don't know why the Premier League haven't. And I know that maybe the lesser clubs don't want that, because obviously the bigger clubs have got a better squad of players. But with the amount of injuries that are getting tallied up now, surely that'll be overturned at some point, won't it? Because no team's getting by well at the moment with this rule.
Well, that's the thing. Let's be perfectly honest. We are maybe one of those sort of smaller teams in the league, and I personally would like to see five subs for us, because I still feel like our squad depth is still pretty decent. We've got some good players to come off the bench. So if we're able to have 5 players come off the bench, then that's great as well. So I don't see sort of many negatives for having 5 subs, to be honest with you, especially with with what's going on in the world right now and the fixture congestion and stuff like that. So I mean I can sort of see the argument with the lesser teams maybe sort of questioning whether they can have 5, but at the same time, I don't see anything wrong with it. And it is harsh, when you guys have got 11 injuries, 12 injuries or something ridiculous, and the fixture congestion that you guys do have, to not be able to have that freedom of 5 subs is a bit harsh. But it's the same for everyone, like you said. It's a level playing field, so it's not like you're being done by other people. And listen, guys, you guys are still at the top, so feel for us at the bottom. You should be happy you're up there in the first place. So
it's every team's having injuries left, right, and centre. This is the thing. Today Millie went down, but you guys lost Morpé and Lallana, unfortunately. Yeah. It's happening every match you watch. It feels like literally there's a player getting stretchered off or getting off with an injury in every game. It is this mad fixture congestion. I think Liverpool have, every 3 games for the next 4 weeks there's a match now. With the squad just getting thinner and thinner, eventually you're just wondering who's Klopp going to pick to run out.
You two might get a game at this rate.
I know, yeah.
Get the big call out to Liverpool.
Nah, I mean it's a bit mad, but I suppose that there has been some positives, because my man of the match today, despite the draw, my man of the match would be Nat Phillips. Without all these injuries, I don't think we would have got to see Nat Phillips in a Liverpool kit, and I think he did really well. I'm not sure about you, Mick.
Yeah, he did well. Like, he's just, I think, one of the commentators said, like, he's an old school, like, British defender, and he kind of is. Like, he just heads anything away, kicks anything away, like Carragher, like Carragher used to do, just literally clear it, clear your lines, no messing around, any danger, sniff it out, get rid of it. I think he did well all over the pitch, really. I think there was a couple of times where they were slipped in behind and one of his long legs just trailed out and kicked it out for the throw-in, or slipped it back into the midfield to get his recycled possession. But he was great. Like, you can't ask any more from him. Obviously, you want him to be better on the ball, but when he's coming in and replacing a Matip or a Van Dijk or Gomez, who were all quality on the ball and all quality all rounders, then he's got a tough task to fill their boots. But yeah, I hadn't even thought of man of the match. But if you had to ask me, it probably would he'd be in the top two, definitely. I think, in terms of who it was. But yeah, it's just frustrating that he gets a loss on his record for that one, because that was difficult to take.
Yeah, I've just read as well. Sorry to sort of interrupt, but I've just read apparently Klopp in his post-match interview had a dig at Chris Wilder apparently by saying that he voted for 3 subs but only has 1 point, which was he's absolutely killed Wilder there. But yeah, apparently he had a big sort of dig at Chris Wilder at full time just because of the whole substitution, because I think he was one of the managers to vote against the 5 subs,
right?
And yeah, he said he's got 1 point but he's voted for 3 subs, which is brilliant. I've got a lot of time for that. That's proper shithousery from Klopp there. But yeah, brilliant.
Well, your man of the match would be someone different. Care to give us your take?
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I feel like from our front, it wasn't like a standout player, because like I said earlier, you know, we weren't amazing, or we weren't like good. I think it was just more a case of you guys being poor, and we just sort of just plugged away and kept going. But I suppose if I had to go with someone, it'd probably be Connolly. I think he caused a lot of problems going forward for you guys, and he was unlucky to be subbed. But he, you know, I wouldn't say he had an absolute sort of whirlwind of a game, you know, an absolute world beater. But yeah, if you look at the squad and the team that played today, I'd probably put him sort of top of the pile. He played really well, and hopefully he can sort of keep it up, really.
I thought Basuma was good as well for you guys. I thought he's
yeah, he's class. He's definitely one of. So for me personally, I'd put him, Basuma, and sort of Lallana as our and Lamptey probably as our sort of star players from our team. And Basuma's just been class ever since I think it was the Arsenal game at the back end of sort of last season. Ever since then, he's just been incredible for us, and he's just been that player to win the ball, just make those, you know, those doing the work that no one really wants to do. So he's been really, really good for us. And I think just going back to Lamptey as well, he was a sort of big miss for us today. You know, I think he could have torn apart Williams if he'd gone on the left, because I think he gave him a torrid time last time. And I'm pretty sure Williams got dragged on at half time as well in that game, last time we played you.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, because I think Lamptey was giving a torrid time. So I think he could have done the same today. So that was a huge miss for us, to be honest, with Lamptey being out. But thankfully, in the end, he sort of wasn't needed in the end, I suppose.
Well, I suppose now it's all looking forward. Who have you guys got next, Maz?
That's a very good question. My brain's gone completely blank. I don't actually know. I don't actually know. That's really, is that bad, or is that just?
I'll ask Mick about Ajax.
yeah. I'll have a little research.
Right, so with Millie out and Trent still out, the only fit right back is Williams. Do you think that he'll start against Ajax? Do you think Klopp's going to do a bit of a shuffle and get someone else in there?
I'll be very surprised if he starts him again, because he's gave him 2 in a row. He's hooked him off at half time, unless he just literally wants to try and keep playing him until he plays all right. Maybe, I don't know, but apart from that, I'd be surprised. You might see Hendo there on the right back. When Millie went off, I thought he was going to put Hendo right back, but he obviously wants to keep the little metronome in the middle and put Jones over there. So we've got right back. You can kind of throw anyone there, and you can do a half decent job. Like any player, and in Premier League, could probably just go right back for a game and get by. It's just when you're missing the likes of Trent and stuff, who's probably the main source of our creativity. It is hard, and especially like Thiago missing and all the other guys we haven't touched on yet who were missing, who were like just absolutely huge, like Van Dijk and Gomez and Matip, who it's difficult to watch this team, and it's not the same. I know, like you said there before, Maz, like about the Leicester game, and I think even us as Liverpool fans were surprised by how well we done in that game. Like we absolutely blew them away, and I think we just set up perfectly, and we just battered them. But I think it's hard to do that consistently when you're missing such big players, especially when players are getting injured during games, and we're having to, like, even in that game, Naby Keita went off, so we were missing him today as well. This would have been a perfect game for him. Amount of space in midfield would have been good for him. But yeah, it's difficult to, when it's so patched up, and you're trying to you're expecting the same Liverpool, but you can't expect that. I think we've been spoilt in a way, like especially the Leicester game, and like still being top of the league. We are quite spoiled that we're still doing so well with so many injuries. So it's the credit to the job Jurgen Klopp's doing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how far is Thiago from getting back? Because I know he's on the bench, right?
No, not a clue.
He wasn't on the bench.
He was on the bench. Oh, I saw.
He's very tight-lipped about that. I think Klopp's he's never been one to risk players with injuries. He always wants to get them like 100% fit before introducing them again. And to be fair, with someone like Thiago, I don't want to see him for half an hour to lose him for 3 weeks again.
Yeah.
Take a bit of time, get him back fully fit, and then we get to see the real Thiago. But it is frustrating because he had that little cameo against Chelsea where he ran the game. Against Everton, he was boss. And it's just an injury that we didn't realise he picked up during the game, because he finished that match. And it's just sort of kept him out for, I think, about a month now, isn't it? He's been out now. And every press conference is like, Thiago's doing well, he's getting back in, he's improving. But never enough, it seems, which is kind of frustrating. But I guess we're going to get loads of players back at one time, and then that'll hopefully be exciting.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, whoever we play when all the fellas are back, I feel sorry for them, because it's going to go off.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, Thiago, genuinely, he's probably arguably my favourite centre midfielder out there. Like, he is just incredible. What he did for Bayern last season was just, I talk about Lallana being classy and oozing class. He's on a different level. He's literally just like class and personified. He's just an incredible player. Just the way he sort of just walks about the pitch, does what he does, and sort of walks off as if it's just effortless, isn't it? He's just such an incredible player.
Players that you'd see that, given how Liverpool played the last 2 seasons, there's few players in the world that you look at and be like, you can walk into Liverpool's squad easily. And he was one of them. He's one of those players that you went, well, you're definitely going to start now. And it's just
exactly
able to see that.
No, definitely, and also as well, final thing from me on the sort of Liverpool's team with Mane as well. I was really surprised not to see him start today, because I thought he would. Well, yeah, he's he's one of your best players. So do you guys know why he didn't start? Or
I feel like it's a bit of a reaction from the performance against Atlanta. I think I was quite critical of the performance against Atlanta. I don't think Mane played particularly well. But looking back, he looked a bit sluggish, a bit tired, and I'm guessing Klopp just thought, well, Jota's on form, we can just swap him out.
Yeah.
To be fair, the logic isn't bad. But I'm hoping that it's just a little bit of a rest. Mick?
Yeah. I think it's literally managing minutes, and like it is hard to, when you want to put the main fellas up there every week, but it's just not viable. You can't do that. But like, especially like we said, the amount of games you're going to have to come in thick and fast every 3 days, every 4 days. So you can't realistically sustain that. So it's hard when you've got the likes of Mane and Hendo on the bench, and you're like, right, just bring them on as soon as you can. And they did eventually, and they both made a difference to us attacking wise. But it's just managing minutes, same as Joel Matip. Like when we seen the starting squad today, we were like, no Joel Matip. So then we were in, is it an injury? And then we've just like found out that it's just Klopp's managing minutes. And I think it's the exact same. I think he's being very cagey with everything, Klopp, at the minute, in terms of who's back when and who's going to play. So I'm hoping it'll be next couple of weeks where we see maybe Thiago and Trent in the same game. So that'll be exciting. I can't wait for that one. So yeah,
definitely, yeah, and for Fabinho as well. For me, how he's gone into that centre half position so effortlessly, it's been really impressive. I remember, was it his first ball in I think it was first couple of minutes, where the ball to Salah, I was just like, you're just ridiculous. What vision and the vision and the execution in that pass was just unbelievable. And Salah arguably should have done better maybe. But the fact that Fabinho is able just to play that defensive midfield and centre back role so effortlessly as well, just testament to the quality of players you guys have in abundance, really.
I mean, Fabinho could end up being a bit of a weapon from centre back because his passing range is really good, and usually from midfield he's going to get pressed a bit. You imagine he's not going to get pressed as much at centre back, so it could potentially be a weapon that Liverpool accidentally find.
It reminds me of the Van Dijk pass to Mane against, was it Bayern Munich? I think it was. It reminds me of that kind of, obviously not in that occasion, but that kind of, I could see him doing those kind of passes all the time, and I think that could be huge for you guys.
I think that him playing so well there might change Klopp's plans on terms of maybe getting another defensive midfielder in rather than a centre back in January, because if Fabinho was happy playing there, like you said, Maz, the passing range he's up there with the best in the Premier League, so. It might be that Klopp goes, right, let's keep him there as an option and get a midfielder in. And then we can just kind of build from there. I mean, we've got loads of midfielders. It's just none of them are fit.
It's just getting him on the pitch. Yeah.
Getting him off the treatment table onto the pitch. Yeah, that's it. Who have you got next then, Maz?
Right, so I've done my research. We've got Saints at home, so that should be an interesting tie. Obviously, it's a South Coast, not a derby, but it's a South Coast sort of battle between the two clubs. So it should be a good game. That Southampton have been incredible this season. They've really kicked on from last season, so it should be a very difficult game. So again, I came into this game against you guys happy with anything like if you beat us 3-0, I would have been happy, to be honest. So I'm going into that game a bit more confident. I can see us, definitely getting a result there. It wouldn't come as a shock, but they are playing really, really well. They got some great players, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Danny Ings might be doubtful or might be out, so that could be a huge advantage for us. So I'm looking forward to it. We're playing. We're slowly sort of picking things up, and it's looking all positive from the doom and gloom of the beginning of the season. Oh, it's not doom and gloom. That's a bit harsh, but it was frustrating some performances. So going into it confident.
Yeah, especially a result against Liverpool is only going to help your players, isn't it?
One of my mates joked. He's a Villa fan. He said, "You've got a result against the two best teams in the league." So that was a nice compliment to get. But no, of course the players are going to be buzzing with the draw. And like I said, arguably some of the players might even think that we should have gone away with a win. So that's even going to boost them even more. So we should take that confidence, and it just shows that we can sort of mix it with you guys, albeit I'm not going to sit here and say that we were amazing and stuff like that. I appreciate you guys were thin on the ground. You had a poor game, but the fact that we've just come away with the draw, it's quite proud. I'm quite a proud fan to come away from a great, arguably one of the best Liverpool sides ever. To come even albeit half your team was missing, it's still a positive result.
Yeah, you still managed, regardless of how many people were missing, the front three is still the front three, and you managed to keep them quiet, because I can't really remember Matt Ryan having any trouble, apart from the goal, having any trouble whatsoever. So defensively, very solid. I like I'm not sold on Webster, but I definitely like Ben White.
I think you're the same as every Brighton fan. We're still not sold, but we bought him for, I think it was 20 million from Bristol City, which was a big purchase at the time. And he's had some really good games, but he's a bit inconsistent. And he has his wobbles. He's a bit I'm sure you guys have got the same kind of sort of players in Williams maybe. But he has his wobbles. But like he's got the what's it called, the outline of a great player. He's great with the ball at his feet. He's strong, he's athletic, but he's got the lapses of concentration. And I think it was early in the game today as well, where for the Salah ball, like I was just like, where are you? Like, why are you so out of position? And like Dunkey didn't have his best game either. So he's definitely got potential with Webster, but he's one of those players that he struggles at times, and a bit frustrating at times as well.
Webster's your Dejan Lovren.
Oh, I feel sorry for Dejan Lovren. I think he got a bit of a harsh sort of stick from you boys, but I mean, to be fair, so I without sort of going into too much, I work in social media sort of for a publisher, and yeah, we gave him a lot of stick online, so I can't really have a go at you guys, to be honest with you, because I was just as bad. So, but I do feel sort of bad for it, really.
I think when you've got the likes of Van Dijk and Matip and Gomez, and then you've got Lovren as your fourth, it's kind of like fourth place that you're like, well. Anyway, guys, should we leave it there because we could spend all day.
Yeah.
Where can we find you on socials and YouTube, then, Maz?
Yep. So if you just type Seagull Social into YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, it's all the same username, and we're on Spotify and Apple as well. So we have a weekly podcast. We talk all things Brighton, but I don't expect any Liverpool fans to tune in to talk about Brighton. But if you want to listen, more than welcome to.
Well, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
No. Thank you guys. It's been a great chat, and I really appreciate you guys inviting me on.
Oh, great. Oh, we can get you on for the reverse fixture. Yeah,
that sounds good. I'll be there. Hopefully, we can get a win this time.
You come away with Anfield with a win. I swear to God. I'll be up in that podcast. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back for the build-up for Ajax, won't we, on Tuesday?
Yeah, let's hope for a better result. I'll see you next time.
Good luck, chaps.